Morning, everyone. Hello, Wilbur. James. Else. OUST is getting extended here. $9.24. Let's see if we can get a small bounce on this. So the 5 minutes at 9:30s. So we get a lower high here. I look to short it. Alright. So no lower high here. It looks like it'll continue higher. No signal. CBAT. Yeah, CBAT looks like it's gonna probably not gonna go anywhere. Had a gap up, just faded back down, fill the gap below, so it's probably dead. You might have a small bounce. This line is the previous day close or previous day high. This gray line, you might get a little bounce there. But I don't think it'll go anywhere today. CTRM. Yeah, CTRM looks pretty dead too. You have some support at 44 cents, but yeah, it'll probably go back down. 44 cents. Doesn't look good. Josh, ISIG. Let's see. Yeah, ISIG. So I have an indicator here that I just wrote. In the last year when the gap's up 10%, it closes screen 0% of the time. So it's going to probably be a red candle. It might probably close. But that's just like the statistics thing, but you know, it could still close. Like these are like this day here was a gap above 10%, it closed red. Gap 10%, closed red. But yeah, it's only with 10% and higher. Today a gap 10.9%. But it had a huge wick. Looks like it halted one time there. And most of the volume was on that halt. So it looks like it's could be a fader. It would need to reclaim 830s to be a long setup. So it would need to reclaim this as support. Like this. Reclaim the 830 as support to be able to go higher today. And then have a flag break. Like this. And that's where it probably get interesting. And it could go higher. But if this one, it might bounce here on the 15-minute EMA. But retest 830. But fails to hold a higher low. And do this instead. It'll probably go lower today. So SOS not too interesting right now. Looks like it's just gonna consolidate or retest 15-minute trend or hourly chart. But I'll put an alert at 830s. If it gets above this level or near it, it'll look interesting. Yeah, SOS. Yeah, SOS looks like another one that got pumped by, was it Wall Street Bet or Reddit, and it's just going down. So nothing much here too. It's over the 9 EMA. It's probably gonna try to defend the 9 EMA. Have a bounce here on this green line, which is the daily 9 EMA. And yeah, nothing much here as well. It needs to hold 567 as support. This pre-market support here became resistance. So a retest of that level and a higher low to break that level. Like a head and shoulders. Break it and then maybe a flag later if it sets up for SOS. But right now it looks pretty weak. And yeah, it's just, I feel like this is probably gonna go down more, like a little bounce, consolidate, and then probably just go fade back down the rest of the day. Looks pretty weak. Apdn, GLSI had a nice 5-minute hold flag here. So bounce off the 5-minute trend. Had a flag break, higher volume. But a little too late now. Held VWAP as well, so that looked pretty good. Morning, Daniel. ODT. Okay. Yeah, this looks interesting. Too big volume for the last two candles so far. Let's see, do I have locates for this? Alright, I do have locates. Yeah, it's getting a little bit extended. The 5-minute chart is extended. It's at $4 right now. So you have like 30 cents downside. If this end up putting a higher low or lower high, I'll probably look to short it, depending where it goes right now. I look for a lower high, short the cup line break, risking prior low or prior high. Yeah, I'll keep ODT on watch for a reversal. FTFT. Yeah, FTFT is probably just gonna consolidate around here. Don't see anything else here. It had last week it had this big day that just sold off. Yeah, in terms of support resistance level, $4 is an area, and probably this $8. This is probably gonna chop around here. Yeah, probably not gonna move anywhere today. CCL. Yeah, CCL had a nice breakout right here during this day. I guess I drew that line before and it looks like it broke out. Yeah, CCL looks good. I mean, yeah. So I'm gonna go back to ODT. So nice volume here. 437. Okay, so I broke broke a little bit too premature there. But let's see if we can get something out of this. Yeah, so it looks like it might just fall. Not gonna give us a setup. So let's see if we get a small bounce here. Yeah, so it looks like it's not going to give us a setup. The setup would be a little bounce. Right now, the 5-minute 90 EMA is slowly catching up. So your potential profit is 19 cents here. So if it gives like this high of a bounce, it'll probably look better. So this high here is 11 cents risk right here. So this 11 cents is this 19 cents. So it might be worth a shot. But if it consolidates further, the 9 EMA on the 5-minute is going to catch up. So I'll probably try to take this. I'll just go small on the 425 break. I'll be risking 436 if it does break here. Alright, so 436 got rejected so far again. Alright. So 425, I'm gonna take a shot. Risking 436. Target is at 407, 406 area. But it needs to break this 425. VWAP is just right underneath though. So 422 is VWAP, so it has to crack through VWAP. Alright. So I took that short there. Going a little early. Probably add a little more with 425. So I broke 424 there. So let's see if it cracks. Alright. So if it bounces off VWAP here, I'm probably gonna just downsize. But the target here would be the 406 area. So I'm in 1,000 shares. Alright. Alright, so I try to recover VWAP there. Yeah, there's some buying power on VWAP. I'm just gonna take off 500 shares right there. And just to downsize, it looks like it's gonna probably defend VWAP area. Alright, so VWAP kind of defended there. I'm just gonna hold the rest of my shares for 436 stop. But I downsized there so to minimize my risk a little bit, just in case it just bounces off VWAP here. But right now the 5-minute EMA is now at like 409. Yeah. So this was a VWAP hold. So when you're shorting near the VWAP level, you have to kind of be careful because this little bounce here was the VWAP bounce. But let's see how it does here. So this is going to be, so right now 430 is the new 430 is the new high here. Let's see if that holds as resistance. Okay. So I'm probably going to use 430 as my stop now. If it goes to 431, I'm going to take it off. Gonna be a little conservative there. So 417 is where it's gonna break with new lows. But 409 is gonna be my target. All right. I filled 200 shares there. It's almost at my target. Probably, yeah. The 90 EMA on the 5 minute is pulling back a little bit, so it took another 200 shares there at 408. So 409 was reached. Let's see, we could get 405. So 405 is where the 5 minute is at. It might bounce here. This is the 5 minute test, which should be somewhere in the final target for this correction. So it might bounce here, so just make sure to take some profits. So I'm going to take off my rest at 407. $400 win there. So I'm all out, shorted 1,000 shares for this inverted cup and handle break. Risking 437. And you can see it's gonna probably start to bounce here. This is where the 5 minute 90 EMA is at. So it might bounce. Maybe retest the 430 level, and it gets a lower high. Maybe we can short the 5 minute target. But it's probably gonna stall here. If it's really weak, it'd probably go to the 50 minute target. But that was a $100 win there. Good trade. Good call, Dano. So my last covers was 407s. So I might look to re-add if it bounced. Confirms this 430 as support. I mean resistance. And then a lower high. So there's two spots. I don't really like shorting on the pop. I like to short the first pop, like this pop. But I don't like to short this pop because it can very well just hold a higher low and go higher after it bounced the 5 minute trend. So if you pull up the 5 minute chart, you can see it was extended. The reason why we short was it was extended. The 9 EMA is down here. 9 EMA is down here. And it was trading up here. So you had a huge correction to the downside. And that's what we're just trading to. A correction to the 9 EMA. And you can see here it's bouncing off that 9 EMA. So it's important to know where to take your profits. Especially if you're playing the 1 minute trigger. This was the 1 minute trigger. Your target is at the 5 minute. And then you can wait until it sets up on the 5 minute, and then your 15 minute is the target. So you just kind of go down the time frames. So this can retest 430s. If it gets rejected, you can try to reshort that pop. But what I like to do is like maybe see an inverted cup and handle like this, and I'll short over here. But yeah, quick little trade there. Good call. So while this is kind of moving around, oh yeah, no, RMO was a little tricky, definitely. Let's see. You can see I traded the backside. I think if you watch my recap, I mentioned you might get stuck in the front side of the move. But yeah, if you look kind of zoom into it, this was like the backside, right? Just use the inverted cup and handle to avoid the front side. So here's your first inverted cup and handle. So none of these are inverted cup and handles, right? You just continue up. So here's your first trigger. That was the first trigger. And then we took that for the 5-minute target, and it bounced on the 5-minute. So you have to respect those exits. It bounced right off it. And then my next trade was the 5-minute, right here. I took it, and then it bounced off the 15-minute target. So we got to respect those. This one I actually took like a small win. I actually stopped out right here and actually went down to the 15-minute target. And then here's the other backside. It's like the small backside towards the 5-minute trend. So here's another win. But yeah, the spot when it was going parabolic here was right here. You can see it was a nice inverted cup and handle. And that was a nice short there for the backside, 1330. And I think that's where you probably took it, right? 1330, he said. So yeah, that's a good spot. Risking here. So 1323 would be the spot. Risking 1345. So this would be your stop. Short trigger right there. And then to the 5-minute to take some profits. Had a little bounce and tested the 15-minute at half the hours. Let's see. So SOS, like I mentioned, have a little bounce, but I don't think we'll see anything here until it reclaims 568. It could be a re-short opportunity. People that want to short pops, but I'm not into shorting pops. OUST. So this has some room to 915. Yeah, so this is the reversal. It's a little bit too late now, but it feels like it's too much on the downside. PT. Yeah, PT looks up 28.9%. So the 5-minute chart's at 132. OCGN had a nice surge as well. OCGN didn't really give a bounce though. Just kind of trickling down. A bounce here would have been nice and short. So no trigger here. Yeah, PT looks interesting. You had a 10-cent on the downside. We're gonna need one more bounce. So 142. Let's see how this candle behaves. I think 2 more minutes would be ideal. Alright, so this is a strong bounce. Yeah, so this is a strong bounce. So not a trigger yet. So when you see a bounce this strong, you're gonna want to see one more candle, a lower high candle. But yeah, it could break too. If it breaks, then we're just gonna wait until another signal. Yeah, so there you go. You don't want to get in front of it, right? There's no lower high to confirm or breakdown. So this is how you avoid the front side. So we're just gonna wait until it gives a lower high. And then the target is for the 15-minute chart. Shotgun 413. Right now, you might get a bounce. It might bounce off the 15-minute chart. Or maybe the 5-minute chart. So it's only a good entry for a scalp. But right now, it looks like it'll probably at least retest $4 or under 4. But it is holding the 5-minute trend. So it's a good I guess dip buy entry on the 5-minute trend. But your stop would be below this candle, below like 409s if you bought that. Okay, yeah. Shotgun, I think if this continue to hold, you might get a 5-minute flag. So in the 5-minute chart, you want to see something like this. And then a break of this flag. Looks like it's going. So it's starting to form it right now. So right now it needs to pull back. It's not don't chase here. Pull back and hold 420 as support. Yeah. So this is a really good start for a long setup. The 15-minute is slowly caught up. So right now we need a higher low here. So it needs to hold this 420 as support. So it needs to consolidate here a little bit. Then I'll look to buy it long as well. So you need a higher low here, either like this, and then you can use these lows as your risk level, your stop point. You could you know there's also dip buy strategies. like on the 5-minute trend, you see this 5-minute trend holding, you could, you know, dip buy on the first 5-minute break, like these highs, and risking the prior 5-minute low, which is like 409. Yeah, 409 in this case. So some people would take this buy here. Yeah, but the only thing I don't like about it, because it could surge, but then it can just fake out and break down. So this needs to pull back. Looks like it's strong. So it's probably gonna break higher days here. So I do have a appointment today, so I might just hop off a little early. So far I only made one trade this morning. Those of you that are just tuning in, I just made a short trade on ODT for this inverted cup and handle. Took that break, stop at 437. Didn't hit my stop, but I downsized here because VWAP was down there, and my target was 409. Hit my target. Had my cover at 407s, my last covers, and you can see it bounce off that. Now it's going higher. It had a potential long setup that I would take, but it didn't hold. It didn't hold this as support. So like 423, you can see it was the prior like crack level for the short. It held it as resistance. So you want it to be, you wanted to confirm support here. So you can risk 423 and then a flag here. And then that would have been an ideal move. Yeah, so it'll look like the long setup that I drew. You can see that support, the orange line. So we need that defined support or higher low to support, and then you draw that flag line, and that would be like the best setup for a long setup there. It looks like it went too prematurely, and it's probably going to get rejected. Okay, is it just you, or is it my stream? Do I need to bump up my volume? Do you hear me fine, Daniel? Okay, so most likely, so this higher day break is probably gonna get rejected because it's extended. I feel it's gonna retest for 30s. So definitely not a buy up here. So like I mentioned on the animation I drew, you're getting this right now, or you got this, but ideally you want this to happen, and then you buy this flag. You buy this flag break, and it would have been a more powerful move. Now that it just like went from pretty much 410 all the way to 460, breaking high of days, most likely it's gonna get rejected. Most likely it's gonna go back to 420s. Yeah, so no setup here. If it created an inverted cup handle here, I would probably took that short just to the 420 level, but no trigger. UTME. Looks like it got halted. Also, PT actually pulled back. Didn't quite give a setup though. It did have one 1 minute candle, like right here, small bounce. It was like a penny, 2 penny bounce. So potentially that might have been like that inverted cup and handle. Very, very small bounce. And then you got the 5-minute target. I mean, that would have been pretty good. Say 2-cent risk, and you get 10 cents, 13 cents. XL. Okay, nothing here. ODT. So it's going higher. It looks tempting, but it's not a buy here. The buy spot was at 420s. So normally I would yeah, typically buy it somewhere around here if it sets up. And we'll look to sell up here. So this is a selling spot. But yeah, it looks like it's squeezing too high, so we'll just let it squeeze out and probably look for a short later. What's this? FREQ. A little bit spready, but also extended. All right, so I don't see anything else moving. Let me open it up to 5%. So BNSO halt. I don't have any bars for this. But it looks like it halted at 737. Oh, it looks like it's halted pretty long. So ODT might get a short setup again. So ODT is extended. You can see if you can get some few bounces here. But I don't like these down wicks when I'm shorting. So for ODT, if it kind of breaks high of day here and fails, I'm gonna look to short. Yeah, I think it's better if it breaks high of day here. All right, so I want this to actually go higher. The higher, the better. And this, okay, so it's creating a lower high here. 488. But I wanted to go a little bit higher right now. Yeah, this chart doesn't look nice too short. I'm gonna avoid this one. I think this is gonna go higher. OCGN is definitely getting interesting. So I'm gonna avoid shorting this one because I think it's gonna go higher. But it does need a correction all the way to 450. I don't know. It could, try hit that short. Looks like it's defending the 90 EMA on the 1 minute chart. You probably short it and then risk high this high at 488. But yeah, you can see how every time it try to breaks that 90 EMA, you get some buyers stepping in. So this one's gonna get tricky. All right. So I think the 48 risk short on that 90 EMA break would have been decent. But yeah, I feel like this probably gonna squeeze higher, so I'm gonna just avoid it. OCGN is getting extended. Yeah, OCGN. Yep, I think shorts got in early there. Dragon, you don't want to try to force any trades. So OCGN definitely getting squeezed here. Let's see on the daily chart. So daily looks like $7.57. So $8 might be a resistance level. It's definitely getting parabolic. Do I have shorts for this? So it's getting parabolic for $8 rejection. 804. So that might be a rejection candle. The old me, I would have short this as risk 804. But I'm just gonna wait. But that was a huge candle though. All right. Yeah, so that's why I stopped the habit of shorting these. Like this, you risk higher days, so then it goes higher, and then you end up adding more. So I'm just gonna wait on the backside. You don't need to pick the top. UTME. Yeah, UTME is dead. Or not dead, but also it's a recent IPO. The chart looks ugly. It would need to, it really need to hold the VWAP to be bullish. Break 100 again. Right now it's doing a lower high. And probably break, what's this, the 80 level. How's ODT doing? Okay, ODT had a higher day rejection candle there. I think if this gives another lower high here, push, I'll probably short it. But it's gonna need like 10 minutes. Let's bring our focus to OCGN here. I think OCGN is gonna give us a short opportunity soon. OCGN could be a big trade here if it sets up. You know, I think this will probably go higher after it tests this tiny EMA. I mean, the likelihood is going higher. I think it'll just break by a little bit and crash. It's too extended on the 5-minute chart, so definitely not a long trade here. I'm stalking it for a short. But I wanted to see it test the 90 EMA at a lower high. Too short. Alright, so here's a test. So, alright. That's his test there, 778. Let's see if we can bounce. Alright, so 777. Seven, 7, 6. All right, so okay, hopefully it gives a bounce here. So 5 minutes at 744. This is 773. Doesn't look like it's gonna bounce. It's having trouble bouncing. So I think this higher day rejection was strong enough there. Big volume bar. So it didn't exactly give a bounce for us to short. Yeah. Looks like it's just gonna drop back down to the 5-minute chart. So ideally, you want to see a bounce here. And then a break for a short there. Risking prior highs. But it looks like it's getting heavy. Straight down to the 5-minute. But it's okay. I'm gonna focus my eyes somewhere else. BNSO resumed for a little bit there. INVZ. I don't have bars for this, but this looks like a short setup on the 15-minute to the 15-minute. $12 break. I don't have any borrows, but this looks like a setup I would take. If it fell flag here, so we try to break this flag and fails, I think $12 is gonna go to like 1170s. As INVZ, it's extended. Let's do this again. Yeah, OCGN just straight to the 5-minute, didn't give any setup. Snap is getting extended. Higher price. Yeah, so I don't see nothing immediate right now. And I do have an appointment that I need to head off to. Yeah, okay. So just to recap, I only did one trade today, and that was on ODT. And this was the short, the 1-minute short. Inverted cup and handle to the 5-minute target. And I was stocking OCGN for another short, but didn't exactly give us a bounce. I think it was overextended, big volume, so it's just a huge sell-off. Was waiting for a lower high to form to short this down to the 5-minute. It actually hit the 5-minute target there, but didn't give us a setup to enter. So I'm gonna call it a morning there, just one trade, and I'm probably gonna take the most of the day off. But yeah, feel free to hit the subscribe and like button if you enjoy the content. And feel free to join the Discord server. And I do occasionally post my alerts on what I'm watching offline. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow.